No, I'm just kidding. That's how you start a professional podcast. Welcome back, guys, to Not Again with Dany Acosta. Today, I am accompanied by two amazing people, the incredible, the wonderful, and the beautiful Victor. Victor, how you doing today, man?
Not again. What a pleasure, Dany.
Yes, I know it's very absurd that you have to be here, and it's very irritating, right? But we also have the breathtaking Vilma. Vilma, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Dany, for having us here today.
Yes, oh my gosh. I'm very glad to have you guys. And today, we're going to be talking about what it's like for them. By the way, they are a married couple, so don't get any ideas, guys. They're an interabled couple, and we're going to be getting a little bit into that because we're still in Disability Pride Month. We're also going to be talking about their brand new venture, which is VM Public Notary Services. And we're going to be talking about in our community here in Massachusetts, we are now able for all immigrants and even myself as a blind person, so be careful, drivers, we can now get driver's licenses. So we'll be right back with some more from Vilma and Victor. We'll see you guys soon. So welcome back. Vilma and Victor, how you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing very well.
Yeah? It's pretty hot today, right?
Yes, very
Yeah.
hot.
So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about your professional background? Why don't we start with Vilma? Tell us a little bit about maybe your what profession have you been in? What was your background academically? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I am a Lynn Tech graduate. I graduated in 2014, and I am currently a paralegal at an immigration law firm that is located in Boston.
What's it called?
It's Law Office of Joanna Herrero.
Oh, wow. And what do you guys focus on in there?
So we focus about immigration cases. So specifically myself, I focus with cases that have to do with kids that are under 21.
Wow,
Yes.
that's beautiful. Okay,
Yes.
so you probably get a lot of DACA cases. You probably get a lot of
Yes.
TPS and so forth, right?
Asylums, yes.
Yeah.
VAWA, a lot of cases, yes.
Okay. And how long have you been there?
I've been working for this law firm for 7 years already.
Is that right? Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
7 years,
Okay.
yeah.
And well, a lot of people often ask us, did she go to college? Did she go to university? Do you have any background in undergrad or grad school?
So I am currently finishing my college degree. Yes, at Southern University. But hopefully, with God given, I'll be able to get my bachelor soon.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Okay. And by the way, we can throw some Spanish here. No se tienen que preocupar porque este programa es bilingüe, es para toda la comunidad.
Perfect.
Y yo creo que como son ustedes latinos, tal vez sería mejor ¿por qué no corremos un poco también en inglés y en español para que todos nos puedan entender? Hoy en la comunidad también tenemos a nuestro hermano Víctor. Víctor, brother, ¿cómo está?
Dany, muy bien, Dany. Gracias por la oportunidad de tenernos aquí. Not again. Para mí es un honor, un placer de poder compartir este tiempo y pues gracias, Dany.
Todas las chicas se están derritiendo de su voz, bro.
Right?
Pero yo las regaño, bro. Hey, relax. Chill, girls, chill. Tell us a little bit about your professional background, maybe some academic background as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually went to KIPP Academy, Lynn Collegiate. I was one of the founding classes when the high school came here to Lynn. I graduated in 2016. After that, I did just about a year college. And then I went off to work. Now I'm currently a business banker for Bank of America.
Nice.
And I've been doing banking for about 7 years now.
Wow. Okay. And so I'm guessing you get a plethora of different kind of clientele at Bank of America.
Yeah, so my main function right now is just I work directly with small businesses. Bank of America is one of the biggest banks that helps those small businesses, grow from scratch onto bigger companies. And so my job is to be able to help during that process, give them cash flow. If they want to finance equipment, if it's practice, a new doctor that's coming along, I help them with the process of setting up.
Yeah, and you know what's something that I really like about Bank of America? They don't require Social Security to get an account. Is that correct?
Correct. So they don't require a social to get an account or a credit card. So it's a great way to start building credit for future, purposes. If you want to buy a home, if you want to start, important things onto why you need credit.
Awesome. Okay, and why don't you tell us a little bit about, and let's see if Victor remembers. Bro, how did you meet Vilma?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was A long time ago.
Okay.
It was a long time ago. I was actually during a band practice for my church where I used to go, some time ago. And she just walked in. I think they visited church with the idea of, I'm not sure, of congregating, but she was about to turn 15 years old. So she was looking to, celebrate her quinceañera there. And so she walked in. I remember her brother, her mom, spoke to the pastor. And that was the first time I met her. I said hello to her, and then from there, it just started.
So you guys been married for 3 years, right? Because she looks 18, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what were your first thoughts when you saw Victor for the first time?
I'm going to be honest. I thought he was really cute, and I actually had spoken to a mutual friend because I was shy at the time, to please ask him if he wanted to be what you call a chambelan, my partner for my Sweet 15.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he said no.
Oh my gosh.
I can't be that easy, Dany.
I know. You got to play hard to get, man.
Exactly.
You got to say no now so you can say yes forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. And well, I remember that we started talking at this campamento, like this youth camp that we had at a church, and from there on, we just never left our side, I guess.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And so you guys met at a church, basically?
Yes.
Nice. And were you guys both really deep into your faith?
I'm going to be honest. When I started going to church at Casa del Padre, that's where I met him. My family and I, we were starting to go again because we had left church for a while.
Yeah.
So I say that we had faith, but my faith was about to start, if you want to put it that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the beautiful thing about God, right? Sometimes we spend years, not me, right? Sometimes we spend years praying for a future wife, and sometimes it happens right off the bat, And what about you, man? Were you already praying for a wife when you met your wife?
Dany, I was 13 years old, man.
Oh, so you were praying for a wife?
I was 13 years old, wanting to be 21,
Yeah.
Church for me at that time was a place to go. Me out of my family have been the only one who's been assisting. Being part of the band is something that would motivate me too.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't praying for a wife at that age. I was just more, focused on being me. But it's God's plan,
That's right.
Over 12 years now that we've been
years,
together.
yeah.
So glory to God for that.
And 2 kids, right?
Two
Two
kids,
kids,
yeah.
yes.
We have a 2-month-old and an 8-year-old daughter.
2-month-old.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Fresh out the bakery, dude. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Well, congratulations, guys. I mean, 2 months and also another daughter. And I love her name, by the way, because I love Star Wars. So it's like strikes a chord every time I think about it. But that's really cool. Okay. And as you guys know, it is Disability Pride Month. And we've been talking about a lot of different disabilities on our podcast. Recently, as you guys know, I'm completely blind, had a kidney transplant. My little sister in the recent episode, she was also on in the previous episode, and she was talking about ADHD, having a speech impairment, which a lot of people in the community, especially when we're speaking or learning 2 languages growing up. But Mimi, why don't you tell us a little bit about that in your life?
So I would say my disability is that I actually am deaf on my left ear. So that growing up was kind of hard for me. Not everybody knows it. So ta-da, it's out in the public now. But yeah, it was hard on me. It was really hard. I was embarrassed for quite a while until I learned, and through therapy, I learned how to love myself the way I am. And I learned that if things happen, it's because God has a purpose, there's something that I've learned that if I don't have my hearing, it's because God wanted me to hear within myself and not what's around me. So it was hard at the beginning, but now with God's help, I've learned how to manage it.
You know what's the best thing about being half deaf? You can always tell your husband, I didn't hear half the things you said.
Exactly, yes.
So it's always a good thing.
That's my favorite quote.
Okay, no, and when did you, or were you always hard of hearing is it your left ear or your right ear?
So now it's both, but
Okay.
mostly my left ear. So my whole journey started when I was 3 years old. I ended up getting a bad infection. I ended up having chronic ear infection on my left ear about 12, 13 years old, in which consisted having like ear tumors and having multiple surgeries. And due to the multiple surgeries and the ear tumors, that's what caused me to lose my hearing on my left ear. Unfortunately, just recently last year, I had a similar thing going on with my right ear, but thankfully I just lost a certain percentage on my right ear, so my good ear is my right ear right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's really awesome. So now you know which side to sit on, man. No, that's really cool. And so Victor, did you when you met Vilma, how far into your relationship did you find out that was going on?
Yeah, well, I would say probably within the first 6 months, just because just around the corner, I think she had one of her major surgeries then.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember actually being there along with her father and her mom. We were all three of us sitting down in the waiting room, waiting for her to come out from surgery. That's when
That's so romantic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We gotta like.
cry.
If there's any writers out there that do screenplays, guys, you guys have to write a movie on this because that's really really awesome, dude. And how do you feel telling him for the first time about having like hearing loss in one ear?
So I was always bullied, and I guess my major fear was being bullied by him. Maybe not bullied directly, but being like, oh my God, I don't want to be with someone who has like this problem. I don't want to be with someone that's gonna for the rest of her life. But no, thankfully, when I told him, he's like, I got you. Like, it's okay. Like, and like he said, what made me fall in love with him even more is that he was there on my day of my surgery. Aww. Mind you, I never asked him to be. He just appeared. He was just there for me. So it was, yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That's really, really cool. Now, having a disability, often, I know, at least from personal experience, it can be a lot of good things, but it also brings some challenges. What would you say were some challenges? Why don't we start with Victor? What are some challenges that you would say you faced having been in being in a relationship with somebody that does have hearing loss?
Besides having to repeat myself 10 times. I mean, okay. At that time, right, if we go back in 2000,
like a disco rayado, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Okay. 2012?
Yeah, it's just the multiple appointments, I guess, that we would have to go into Mass Eye and Ear. Obviously, me not having a license and not being able to drive, willingly wanting to, right? But that was one of the major challenges back then. Finding a struggle for us to get there to multiple appointments just to keep up with her ear and make sure that she's doing all right. And trying to protect her. Any little thing that could bump into her ear or maybe a scream or a loud noise, it would affect her. So trying to control that and be self-conscious of what's going on, it was also a challenge, I would say, but it was well managed.
So you've been to the hospital much too many times, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you probably had to nurse her back to health a lot of times.
Yes.
Yeah, it's but you know what, man? I definitely take off my hat and I give you kudos for that because it's not easy. I know that a lot of people out there, when they are in a relationship with somebody that does have a disability, often it becomes overwhelming. It becomes very strenuous. It becomes very difficult. And sometimes it's depressing. You often spend your days more at a hospital than you do at a romantic date. But I think a lot of misconception is also that you can have a romantic time at a hospital. I know for me, I've had several times where some of the most special moments in my life with my most recent endeavor, if you will, was at a hospital. And it was really sweet to see that person be there present for me when I most needed somebody to be there for me.
That's right.
Right? And how about for you, Mimi, as a person with a disability in this situation, what are the challenges that you faced?
The challenges I would face would be obviously not being hear people, So I guess learning how to read their lips without them knowing that I can't hear. Because like I said, I was always embarrassed. So that was a quite of a challenge for me. One of the biggest challenges that still affect me now is not being able to swim because of this. Since I can't go under the water.
So you haven't showered in like 10 days,
No,
right?
I have showered. I can shower. Let's get that clear.
So
But,
if you
like,
come
let's
over,
say-
just wear a mask. Okay, yeah.
So like let's say we like if I go to a pool, if I go to the beach, I'm not able to enjoy as others could, you know?
Wow.
So I guess that's one of my challenges. One of my desires is like just be normal, if you want to say that.
I'm gonna challenge that a little bit, actually. Normal.
Normal.
You're not missing out.
No, yeah.
I will tell you that much. I think it's overrated.
Yeah.
Because I think there's things that you can do in your relationship that other people can't enjoy, right? I heard somebody say this week, when I had when I couldn't talk, I wish I could stutter. And when I could stutter, I wish I could talk. And then when I could talk, I wish I could sing.
Yeah.
And when I could sing, I wish I was famous. And when I was famous, I wish I had peace.
Wow. Touching.
But it all started with not being able to talk, right? And so sometimes we want to reach this apex that culture tends to tell us, you can't have romantic dates or you can't live life to the fullest if you can't do fill in the blank, right? And obviously as a blind person, I have to adapt a lot of the things that I do with people, with friends, when I socialize, even when I'm out with a partner or something like that. And so I want to encourage you, dude. Yeah, like shower first of all, but also, he's gonna appreciate it. But also, you want to make sure that you're having and making the best of it,
Yeah.
right? Well, what does watching TV look like? I mean, what does listening to music look like? Do you often need it louder than he does?
Yes,
Is that annoying for you? What does that look like?
Yes. So
He was about
I feel
to
like
lie.
it's always too loud.
Okay.
Or, we're watching a movie, right? Our kids are asleep, and that's our time to kind of, be together and drink some
Play
coffee.
hide and seek naked. Yep, I know what you mean.
No, not necessarily, but
All the other
but
weekends. Okay, yeah.
And so, we're watching a movie, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't hear it." So she puts up, the volume very high, and I'm like, "Wait, what? It's too loud. Lower. The kids are sleeping."
Same
So-
thing with the car and the music in the car. I like my music loud, obviously, And
Right.
he's like, my ears hurt. I'm like,
I'm a sucker for like really good bass and treble. I like to feel the vibrations in my body, but that often requires extremely high volume.
Yeah.
But as a blind person, I love but it also depends, right? I don't want like ridiculously high volume where you don't
Yeah.
even understand.
No, yeah,
Where
yeah.
like the sound gets very like watery, very muddy. I don't like that. But so what else is like when you guys are on a date? What else do you maybe specifically you, Victor? What are things you have to keep in mind when you're planning a date with your wife that typically a person wouldn't have to think about when they are going on a date?
Yeah, so, I mean, we go, say, for dinner, right? As an example, we sit down. I ask her, what are you having for dinner, right? And then sometimes the waiter does come and say, hey, you ready to order? What would you like? And then she doesn't answer. So I keep that in mind, right? So I'm like, oh, hey, do you know what you're getting? So in case she don't hear him, I can just say, oh, she would like such and such. Or
Yeah.
I'll just let her know, I would like this. Honey, what are you going to have, right? And like you said, keep on her right side so she can
Yeah,
hear
okay.
me more.
yeah.
So es un galán.
Yes.
Te lo mereciste.
Yes.
Okay, and but now on your end, right? What are some things that you would recommend to people, maybe that they are dating somebody that is hard of hearing, but things that they might not think about, right? What are some things that you would recommend for them to keep in mind? Maybe if they're going on their first date with someone that is hard of hearing. What would be your recommendation?
I would say have a lot of patience. Have a lot of patience. Don't get frustrated. Don't get annoyed really quickly. And most importantly, don't shout out, hey, did you hear me? Because we're already embarrassed enough not to hear, and then you shouting out, hey, did you hear me? It's like more like embarrassed to let the whole world, oh, wow, they can't hear, So it's just keeping certain things between each other, or like before the day saying, okay, what code do you want me to use, or what type of gesture you want me to do in order for us to understand each other and not be yelling across the room and making it seem like and having people notice that you actually can't hear. So
Do you mind if I throw something that might be a little difficult for you?
yeah, go for it.
So, for example, I know like when people are in a relationship and maybe they're not vibing or maybe they're not on the same page about something, often, I don't know about Victor, right? But maybe like I'm the type of person where I'll probably think out loud, where I'm like, oh, this is gonna get to me. But what if you barely heard it? Do you ever feel like, what if he's whispering or saying something on purpose, but at low volume, so I can't hear him? Do you ever feel that way?
I can't hear them, but their gesture, the way that they look,
their body language?
Their body language says it all. So for me, it's like, oh God, I bothered this person, or God, they're annoyed, or did I just ruin their mood? It's just the body language. If you're able to not hold it in, obviously, but like,
okay, yeah.
Disimular, if you would say, that would help out a lot. Not making the person feel bad for their own disability. Yeah.
And what about you, man? Like, what are some things that you feel can really get to you? Like, do you ever feel like she might ask you, can you speak louder? But like, it might come off with an attitude and it might bother you, rather than like it coming off as like, hey, I actually need you to speak louder?
Yeah, so
like this morning, right before we got here,
right before we walked in, she grab my coffee. I mean, one of the examples that I would say, considering our children, right? Leah being our older daughter, 8. Say she's either working on her computer and then she's like, Mom. And I'm like, Mom, did you hear her? And I'm like, hey, Leah's talking to you. Like, and sometimes unconsciously I forget of, her situation, right?
Right.
And sometimes that could either get to you in that moment, but then you like settle back and you're you know what, Leah, just get closer to Mom, or let me go ask her, things like that. So.
No, that's really sweet, and I think your daughter is both your daughters are gonna learn to have a lot of patience.
So it's actually my daughter and my son.
I mean, yes, your daughter and your son. I was really hoping. Oh, please tell me you named them Luke.
Yes, Lucas.
For real?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude, that's so awesome. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm so excited now. Oh my gosh. No, you know what? That's really cool, and they're both gonna be able to learn to be really, really patient, and they're gonna have a really cool favorite uncle now because his name is Dany, and I'm gonna visit him every day. Oh my gosh. And dude, you should name your next child like Death Star or something. But no, dude, that's really, really cool. And one of the things that really drives me crazy sometimes, just kind of touching a little bit on the disability, is how expensive hearing aids are, right? There's hundreds to thousands of dollars, and sometimes phones try to make up for it, or like AirPods, things like that. My friend has hearing aids, and she gets them through insurance with a co-payment, and she still has to pay thousands of dollars. Yes. Do you experience that?
Yes. So due to the fact that with my last surgery, like I said, there was a possibility that I was going to actually lose my whole hearing. And we look into hearing aids, and let me just say, I was like, what are health insurance for then? Because even like you said, even with copay, it was just a lot of money. And I guess what helped me through it was like AirPods, but it's not good enough for what I actually needed. But yeah, it's really expensive. It's really expensive.
I'm gonna get you one of those, like, do you know what an ear horn is?
No.
Think of like a little cone, and then you just put it like this next to your ear, and you're like, all right, time to hear everything. No, and as you know, like even me as a blind person, and for those of you watching, I'm actually using my laptop today, and if you guys can hear it, let me see here. If you guys probably can't hear it, but if you can, that's a screen reader. Well, the screen reader that I use is $1,000 software, which is really, really expensive. And a lot of people that have a disability, unfortunately, may not be in the same situation as Vilma and I, and may not be in a relationship where they're getting the financial support they need, or may not have the privilege, right? So often I find a lot of people that have a disability cannot afford the mobility aids, the hearing aids, or even like the software aid that they need, the adaptive technology they need to be able to have a successful and a thriving life. But enough of that. Right now, we're going to go into our next segment, and we're going to be talking about immigrants who are now able to get driver's licenses here in the state of Massachusetts, especially here in Lynn, where we've been advocating, fighting. And we're going to hear a little bit about how Vilma&Victor were involved and what are their thoughts with that. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys, guys, so today we're going to be talking about why it's important that immigrants are able to get driver's licenses. As you, Victor, and Vilma know, not every state is actually doing this right now, right? A lot of states are still not legalizing immigrants to be able to have driver's licenses. And there's a lot of debate about why not, what are the pros, what are the cons. But why don't we start with Vilma this time? Vilma, from your perspective, why should immigrants be allowed to have driver's license?
Well, coming from an immigrant family, having a driver's license is it's like the way how you identify yourself, right? I say that it's important because it gives the opportunities for immigrants to go to work, get their kids to school, go to doctor's appointment. It's a way for them to be more free in doing certain things in their life. Yeah.
Well, it also helps them be more responsible,
exactly,
right?
yes.
I mean, they can get to their appointments on time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't have to face as many transportation barriers. And as a social worker, one of the biggest reasons why my clients often don't come, Victor, is because they often don't have transportation. They often don't have a way to get there. And many times they have to ask a friend. I've even had clients that would tell me, can I send my son, who's like 12 years old, can I send him in a taxi? And I'm like, no. I can't do that. He's underage, first of all, and I'm not going to send him home in a taxi either, right?
Yeah.
Victor, from your perspective, what are the benefits to allowing immigrants to have driver's licenses?
Yeah, Dany. I think it just brings peace of mind, right? It makes them feel a little more secure, more peaceful in terms of, believe it or not, and it's no secret, there's a lot of, because of their situation and our transportation barrier, that they have to drive either way, right, with the license or no license. So now thinking about that, having the ability to have a license, it brings them peace of mind. Oh, I can drive right next to a cop without feeling uncomfortable, without feeling nervous. So now...
Without hiding the drugs under my seat.
Exactly. So,
oh, man, I can't eat cereal and drink coffee at the same time? Man, this is abuse. Okay, well, what else? What do you think?
Yeah, well... I also, me working in the bank, right? Mm-hmm. Not having a driver's license, for certain banks, it can be an issue, right? We require a federal state ID, and most of them just say, hey, I only have a passport. Well, listen, I'm sorry, one of the regulations is that we need 2 forms of IDs. So if you don't have another one, then I'm sorry. So now them having, a federal state ID, which is such as the driver's license, just adds more value to that. And it's just another way of them having peace of mind.
I mean, a lot of people try to bring that I see you guys, that ID chueco, but you can't do that, right? That's illegal. And I think from my perspective, it promotes safer streets.
Yes.
More people drive safe. Mm-hmm. If there is an accident, people are less likely to drive away because they won't be scared that they don't have a driver's license, that they won't get in legal trouble, that they don't have insurance and so forth. We'll also be able to provide more financially to our city when there are more drivers on the road, not overcrowded, but I mean in the sense of legally, mm-hmm. right? Because there's going to be drivers regardless whether or not they have a driver's license. But when we can license more drivers out there, they're more likely to buy new cars. They're more likely to invest in the economy and not be afraid that they're going to have their car taken away because of the lack of driver's license. That also promotes not just safer roads, but also safer families. One of the things that I was thinking about is when you have to get your driver's license, you have to do a test. It's not you don't just walk in and say, all right, I got this. I mean, there's a driving test, but there's also a written test, right? There's a questionnaire that you have to answer. And a lot of the families, like I was saying earlier, many of them are facing battles with getting their kids to appointments, getting their kids to school. Going to work is a big one. And often a lot of people spend more money on public transportation than they would if they just had a car. And as you guys know, many families end up sharing vehicles, yeah? And so have you guys met or have you guys been able to benefit from this new law that came into place?
So personally, no, but I have a lot of clients. Today in the morning, actually, before coming here, I had a client who was super happy. He's like, I'm finally going to be able to get a driver's license. I'm finally going to get my kids to school on time. I'm finally going to get to work on time. So just seeing that emotion, it's like, wow, like this makes such a huge difference to those who, for example, like people who actually have it might think, oh, it's just a simple card. No, it's not a simple card.
Right.
For someone who actually needs it and wants it, it's like they're everything. So personally, like family-wise, we have not experienced it, but just seeing my clients so happy to know that this law has passed, it's so touching and heartwarming for me. So it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Victor, how about you? What are the impacts that you're seeing that this new law coming into place has had in the community, or maybe near people that are near you, like family and friends?
Yeah, I would share the same thought along with Mimi. Right? Like I have a very close friend, and he's been living here for a long time. He's been going to school with me, right? And now he now has a family, but because of him having a family, he has been driving to work without a license, just per se. But now, as soon as the law passed, he came, he visited us. We worked on the documentation that he needs. And not too long ago, he gave me a call. And he's like, hey, Victor, guess what? I'm like, not again. And then,
Yes.
And then he's like, well, I just passed my exam. And I'm like, wow, congratulations. And the smile, I over the phone, I can already see it in his face. So it definitely adds a lot of value and joy.
Yeah, no, I think it adds a lot of joy, definitely, and a lot of peace. Right, it reduces anxiety on the road. I mean, when I think of the factors that contribute to a lot of accidents, it's anxiety, it's stress, right? I mean, it's already stressful enough to be stuck in traffic.
Correct.
How much more when there's like 2 police officers behind you,
Oh my God.
right? How much more when your kids aren't putting on their seatbelts, or blah, 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 right? Fill in the blank. Or, oh my gosh, I have insurance to somebody else's name because it's cheaper and this. And like your mind races a million miles an hour, all because you're driving without a license. And I think if immigrants can go out there, guys, and get their driver's license, how much more those that are already eligible to get their driver's license? I want to encourage all of you guys that are watching, go get your license. Go impact your community. Go invest in safety around you. Let's reduce the amount of people that are getting into car crashes, that are driving drunk, that are driving without these licenses, that are even hurting kids that are playing on the road sometimes, or even or just getting into really sketchy situations. And I think it's also going to promote more Lyft drivers, more Uber drivers, and hopefully, and if we can see those promises that they've been saying about putting electric vehicles on the road, we'll probably even be able to reduce those carbon emissions that are being let out into our atmosphere. Do you guys want to say anything else about this new law that's coming in?
No, just like I said, like you said, sorry. If you have the opportunity to do it, go do it. Now is the chance, take advantage of it, because right now we have it, tomorrow we don't know. So if you have the ability to go, do not lose this opportunity, because a lot of people been waiting for this moment, and it's finally here.
Right, it's definitely here. How about you, man? Anything else you want to say before we wrap up this segment?
I just want to encourage all of you guys, same thing. You that have the ability to do it, right? Go ahead and do it. Just to let you guys know, there's a waiting list, because our Spanish community are people that were not able to do it now can. They are on a waiting list, ready to get their driver's license. So go for it. It's a way to keep our community safe, and let's be part of it all together.
That's right, and I think it's going to be really important to see a lot of you guys out there. And like I said, soon I will have a license, and I will be able. If it's crazy already, it's going to get a lot crazier once Dany's on the road. Guys, make sure that you're not driving next to me, because I drive really fast, I drive really crazy, and I'm going to tie my white cane to the windshield wipers, so I could be like swiping it on the road, and make sure that I don't hit you guys. So be careful and drive by faith and not by sight. We'll be right back, and we're going to be talking about Victor and Vilma's brand new endeavor. They're our upcoming small business owners, they're entrepreneurs, and they just started an amazing company called VM Public Notary Services. So we'll be right back with that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. So welcome back. And by the way, something we didn't touch on just briefly, for those of you that are wondering, Vilma is half hard of hearing, right? And I think you said completely deaf in one ear as well.
Yeah.
And then Victor is the privileged gentleman that's here that is able to not just be married to her, but also give her 2 kids and whisper whatever he can. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, Vilma is also an amazing singer. So a lot of people have a stereotype of like, oh, you can't be a good singer if you don't have like perfect, high quality hearing. But Vilma's a testimony that is not true. Not only is it not true when it comes to singing, it's also not true when it comes to owning a business. They have just started and established their brand new company, VM Notary Services. So Victor, why don't you tell us a little bit about VM Notary Services? What does VM stand for? Where do you guys get the name? And tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So VM actually stands, my name is Victor, her name is Vilma, so that's a V, right?
Yep.
And our both last names is Mauricio, so
Nice.
VM. Notary Services is basically what we do. We starting to notarize legal documents, letters that you might need, immigration letters, and eventually we're looking to see if we can get into the Department of Deeds for either home equities or future mortgages, and just being a witness or a notary for those documents and those people that are buying new homes as well.
Wow, okay. And Vilma, why don't you tell us a little bit about the mission statement? What is the mission statement of VM Notary Services?
Well, the mission statement for VM Notary Services is basically to help the community in a better way, in the sense if they need help, we're there on hands-on, ready to go and help them in any way.
Yeah, no, I love it. Lo que me gusta mucho, y creo que tal vez desarrollamos esta conversación un poquito más en español para nuestra comunidad latina.
Sí.
Algo que nos encanta de lo que está haciendo Vilma y Víctor es que ese servicio de poder notarizar, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Los servicios de notarizar las cartas, letras, todo lo que ustedes tengan para poder ganar no nomás su licencia de manejo, pero también cualquier otros documentos que pueda necesitar la comunidad, es que los dos son bilingües. Así que si usted no habla inglés, no hay excusa, porque ellos le pueden dar ese servicio en el lenguaje preferible de ustedes. Entonces, me gusta mucho la misión que ellos tienen. Yo creo que tienen un corazón muy grande para la comunidad latina. Entonces, ¿por qué no nos dices, Vilma, un poquito sobre si la persona quiere venir para notarizar algo? ¿Qué son los documentos que tienen que notarizar para poder ganar la licencia de manejo? ¿Y qué necesitan que traer con ellos cuando ellos quieren notarizar algo con ustedes?
Ok, so los documentos que necesitan para poder tramitar lo que es la licencia, se necesitan 2 formas de identificación. La razón por qué lo hacen es que ellos quieren, primero que nada, verificar la identificación de la persona y identificar la fecha de nacimiento. So, se necesita ya sea el pasaporte, el ID consular, se necesita lo más importante, que es el acta de nacimiento. Si tienen una recién, mucho más que mejor. Se necesitan 2 comprobaciones de que ustedes viven en el estado de Massachusetts. Y también, si ustedes tienen alguna licencia de su país que no esté expirada, eso también les ayudaría en este proceso.
Excelente, muchas gracias, Vilma. Yo creo que es muy importante que la comunidad empiece a recaudar todos sus documentos lo más rápido posible. Y Víctor, estás diciendo que hay ahorita una espera, ¿verdad? Una lista de espera para las personas que quieren acercarse a poder ganar esa licencia. ¿Por qué no nos dices un poquito de eso? Y tú más o menos, ¿cuánto crees o cuántas personas, cuánto tiempo puede durar esa lista?
Sí, Dani. Bueno, yo creo que la lista de espera se puede demorar tal vez hasta un mes, diría yo, si no más. Y básicamente eso, sí.
Wow. ¿Por qué no nos dices un poquito más sobre tu experiencia poder empezar un nuevo negocio como pareja? Porque me imagino que, como yo que empecé el negocio de DanyAcosta.com, go check it out, creo que una de las partes más difíciles para mí ha sido crear un website. Pero, para los que no saben, Vilma fue la que creó mi website. Entonces, si a ustedes les gustan todo lo que ven en mi website, es gracias a nuestra hermana Vilma, que ha sido un gran trabajo. Por favor, dejen en sus comentarios lo que ustedes piensan de DanyAcosta.com y déjenle saber a Vilma qué tan hermoso ha dejado ese website. Pero una de las batallas que yo tuve haciendo ese website fue de tener en mente, ok, ¿qué es lo que yo envisiono, verdad? Visualmente, porque como una persona ciega, pero también no tuve la batalla porque, como nosotros sabemos, yo puedo tener una visión, pero tal vez si yo tengo una pareja, mi pareja puede tener otra visión, y si tengo empleados, ellos pueden tener otra visión. Pero si no estamos en la misma visión, es más difícil manejar un negocio. Entonces, ¿qué fueron unas dificultades que tú has tenido y tal vez unos beneficios que tuviste de empezar un nuevo negocio junto con tu esposa?
Claro, Dani. Bueno, lo que yo podría decir, Vilma es una mujer de muchas virtudes. Like you said, Dany, te ayudó con el website.
Luna de miel hoy en la noche. Ajá.
Muchas virtudes y
¿Ya?
entonces la idea más fue de ella. Ella se merece la credibility, claro.
Yeah.
Y creo que mi función más ahí fue en el being supportive, motivándola. Y yo creo que pues ella tiene muchas ideas que todavía no han salido. Este es solo el principio, el comienzo de algo grande que creemos que Dios va a empezar a hacer en nuestra familia, en nuestro hogar. Y pues apoyarla, estar ahí y decirle que sí se puede, también apoyarla económicamente, ¿verdad? Porque hay cosas que sí se requieren, por ejemplo, para que nos manden los documentos, nosotros trabajamos para poder hacerle casi el paquete completo. Nos pueden mandar los documentos que necesitan que notarizar, los podemos imprimir, los podemos traducir, que es parte del acta de nacimiento, se traduce del español a inglés.
Es un requisito,
Es
¿verdad?
un requisito.
Yeah.
Nosotros lo hacemos y también le hacemos la cita. Una de sus preguntas, Dani, fue cuánto se demora. Por eso es que sabemos que se demora, porque es parte del package que incluye básicamente.
Wow, qué hermoso. Y me encanta que y también ustedes ya tienen un website, ¿es cierto?
Sí.
¿Qué es el website?
vmnotaryservices.com.
Wow, entonces yo lo voy a estar dejando en la descripción de este video, vmnotaryservices.com, donde ustedes pueden encontrar más información. Y dinos un poquito, Vilma, sobre tu experiencia. ¿Qué son cosas tal vez, porque como también estamos hablando, ¿verdad?, de la discapacidad que tienes, dinos un poquito qué debería de tener el cliente en mente cuando trabaja contigo como una persona que tiene una discapacidad?
Una de las cosas que incluso en la oficina donde trabajo, es que yo a veces digo, ¿puedes repetirlo? Entonces, solo hablar fuerte y claro es genial, me ayudaría bastante, versus cuando alguien habla tan tímido, tan calladito, eso hace que yo les vuelva a decir, ¿me lo puedes repetir, por favor? Y no es que no quiera hacer o que no le estoy poniendo atención, no, sino es que a veces se me hace difícil escucharlos.
Muchas gracias, Mimi. Y yo creo que es muy transparente, ¿verdad? Y tengan paciencia, tengan compasión. Así como han tenido compasión conmigo y favor de Dios en mi corazón, yo les pido que también hagan lo mismo con nuestra hermana Vilma. Si ella les pide, repita, por favor, solo repita, ¿verdad? Es solo una manera de poder comunicarse. Y yo creo que hay personas, right, que también necesitan que se repita una pregunta o una respuesta. Así como ustedes necesitan información muy clara, muy específica, también es lo mismo que Vilma les está pidiendo. Y ella no les pide que lo repitan porque no les importa. Ella le está pidiendo porque le importa, porque quiere darle el mejor servicio de alta calidad posible para todos los que nos están escuchando. Y Víctor, dinos un poquito de más, ¿qué ha sido tu experiencia trabajando y manejando el negocio en el aspecto con clientela? O sea, ahorita tienen muchos en lista de espera para ayudarles con estos documentos.
Sí, Dani. Es un negocio que acabamos de empezar, de hecho.
¿Cuándo lo empezaron?
Julio 23, Mimi's birthday, actually, we made it
Wow.
official.
Hold on, let me correct that. Julio 13.
Yeah, that's right, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was like, that was yesterday.
I just want to make sure if she's here or not.
Okay.
Julio 13, yes.
Sí.
And so, empezamos ahí.
Hace 2 semanas desde la grabación de este programa.
Sí.
Okay.
Yes, todo reciente. ¿Cómo lo hemos hecho? Yo creo que hoy en día hay una plataforma muy fácil que es social media, right? Y entonces hemos creado la página de la compañía y lo hemos compartido de esa forma. Mucha gente, de hecho, nos ha escribido, gracias a la iglesia, a la comunidad, mucha gente que nos conoce, pues nos ha estado mandando muchos mensajes pidiéndonos qué requisitos se necesita, qué tienen que estar, qué preparación se debe hacer. Y pues mi función es más que todo pues tener un orden y tener las fechas, right? Porque hay gente que ya tiene su cita y no podemos demorarnos a entregar esos documentos una semana después. Tener un calendario y las fechas para cuando sus documentos tienen que ser entregados.
¿Por qué no nos dices un poquito, Vilma, un poco más sobre qué tipo de servicios hacen? Notarizan las cartas, right?
Sí.
¿Qué más hacen?
También podemos ayudar en lo que es los formularios del pasaporte, pasaporte, documentos de las cortes de familia. Yo sé que hay ciertos documentos que necesitan ser notarizados. Podemos ayudarles con cartas de inmigración. Eso es muy, muy común en nuestra comunidad, donde si alguien tiene algún caso inmigratorio, se necesita como cartas de carácter moral. Nosotros les podemos ayudar a hacer esas cartas siempre y cuando estén con nosotros presentes mientras estamos haciendo esas cartas. Travel consents, por ejemplo, si tienes a un menor que va a ir a tu país de origen, pero tú no vas a ir, nosotros hacemos esos tipos de documentos también para que tu menor vaya con la persona en quien lo vas a dejar encargado.
Eso es muy hermoso y eso le da la habilidad a las personas que son inmigrantes, ¿verdad? De poder, no nomás hacer más rápido el proceso cuando están esperando esa ciudadanía, tal vez están esperando la residencia o tal vez como yo, ¿verdad? Que soy inmigrante, pero estoy bajo la acción deferida o DACA. Es muy bueno tener acceso a personas y es muy bueno, todos los que están viendo, de apoyar a nuevos negocios que están empezando en nuestras comunidades, porque cuando apoyamos a las comunidades y cuando apoyamos a negocios dentro de nuestras comunidades, todos prosperamos, todo nos ayuda, porque todo eso le estamos ayudando a la comunidad latina. Y tal vez no lo mencionamos, pero Vilma, ¿de dónde eres tú originalmente?
Yo originalmente nací en California, Santa Ana, Orange County.
Yes.
Pero mi mamá...
Los Angeles is better, but whatever.
Pero mi mamá es salvadoreña y mi papá es guatemalteco. Soy mitad, mitad.
Wow,
Yes.
chaparita y le gustan pupusas.
Yes.
Y hermano Víctor, ¿de dónde es usted?
Yo originalmente nací en San Marcos.
Nice, okay. Wow.
Guatemalteco, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, los golearon este 2 semanas. No, but that's good, okay. Pero me da mucho gusto que tenemos a 2 chicos centroamericanos que están apoyando mucho a la comunidad y ellos son un ejemplo para aquellos que están con una discapacidad, para ellos que están casados, para aquellos. Y si tú estás viendo y tú dices, Dani, yo he querido empezar un negocio, he querido empezar mi empresa, pero no creo que yo puedo. Siento que tengo la visión, siento que tengo una misión y un propósito, un llamado para poder impactar mi comunidad a través de un negocio, pero como que no puedo, no lo he hecho, no tengo como las ganas. Aquí tienen un gran ejemplo, una pareja que no nomás una muchacha que tiene una discapacidad, un esposo que ha tenido mucha paciencia, pero ambos los dos han tenido esa ambición de crecimiento, esa ambición de impactar su comunidad. Entonces, ¿qué excusa tienes tú hoy? ¿Qué es la excusa que te está deteniendo a ti? ¿Qué es la barrera? ¿Qué es el límite que te está deteniendo a ti? ¿Sabes cuál es? Es el espejo. Es lo que ves en el espejo. Es esa persona. Porque lo que estás viendo en el espejo te está deteniendo. Yo, como una persona ciega, siempre le digo a los chicos que yo les doy terapia, mentoría, consejería, les digo, el mejor espejo que tú tienes en la vida no es el físico que está en tu cuarto, ni el que está en el baño, ni el que está en el gimnasio. Es el que está en la escritura. Es el que está en la Biblia, porque es el único espejo que realmente y verdaderamente te va a decir quién eres. Te va a decir tus buenas y te va a decir tus malas. Te va a decir dónde corregir, pero también te va a disciplinar. ¿Y por qué no nos dices, Víctor, un poquito también sobre tu servicio en la comunidad, aparte de VM Notary Services, ¿verdad? Creo que también tienes otras maneras de impactar la comunidad. ¿Y qué sería tu motivación para las personas que están viendo que tal vez tienen las ganas de empezar un negocio, pero se están deteniendo?
Sí, Dani, pues una de las cosas recientemente que estoy empezando a hacer, estamos trabajando con un programa que se llama el Smart Program, que ayuda a las comunidades, a dueños de casas, que ahorrarse dinero with their electric bill. Si usted está pagando mucha cantidad de dinero por lo que usted produce con su servicio de electricidad, hay formas de cómo usted puede producir su propia energía, y eso es basado en los paneles solares. Si usted los ha visto en sus casas, que hoy en día mucha gente, su vecino los tiene, pues déjeme decirle que usted ya los está pagando. Usted en su bill, si usted ve, hay una factura que usted los paga, y hay formas de cómo evadir ese cobro para que usted se pueda ahorrar dinero. Estamos trabajando en eso con la comunidad. Aparte de eso, pues simplemente quiero motivarlos, ¿verdad? Creo que nuestro propio límite lo ponemos nosotros. Si nosotros entregamos nuestros sueños, nuestras visiones primeramente en Dios y le pedimos la guianza a Él y la certeza, pues las cosas van a suceder. Y creo que la llave, ya lo que mencionaba Dani, es que consistencia, ¿verdad? No podemos dejar las cosas a medias, no podemos empezar y como que calentarlas y luego se enfrió y ahí se murió, right? Tenemos que seguir, aunque tengamos una semana mala, un día malo, pero nuestra situación aquí a un día, nuestra situación aquí a un mes va a ser completamente diferente. Entonces, confiados de Dios y agarrados de la mano de Él, saldremos adelante.
Lo que yo voy a hacer, bro, voy a amarrar puros paneles solares a los chicos que quieren ir a jugar en el parque para que produzcan energía. Al cabo van a estar en el sol todo el día y yo voy a recibir todos los fondos, bro. Vilma, ¿por qué no nos dices un poquito también sobre qué es una mala concepción o concepto, algo que tienen mal entendido la comunidad, que cuando vienen a ti a recibir servicios dicen, no, es que yo escuché eso, pero fue información falsa?
Bueno, ¿cómo le pongo? La concepción que tienen que muchas de las personas ahorita, especialmente digamos en este programa de las nuevas licencias, mucha gente piensa que solo necesita un solo documento, porque muchas de la gente dicen, no, solo vengan y traduzcan sus pasaportes. No es, su acta de nacimiento. No es así. Son varios requisitos que necesitan llevar. Entonces, por eso cuando me llaman, yo siempre les digo, ok, necesitan, por ejemplo, ¿verdad? Muchas de las personas en la cual yo les he ayudado no sabían que necesitan ya sea una carta del Social Security diciendo que no han tenido un social, o un affidavit que el mismo R&B se les da, notarizado, dando constar que ellos no tienen un social. Entonces, yo creo que la concepción es que no escuchen lo que el vecino les dijo o lo que su prima le dijo. Infórmese uno mismo para tener todos los requisitos adecuados, porque cada persona es diferente caso, siempre digo, ¿verdad? Lo que le ayudó a él no te va a ayudar a ti, porque cada uno tiene diferente proceso.
Claro, claro, Vilma. Yo creo que a veces la mala concepción también de las personas, ellos sienten que, lo que funcionó con él, pero como decimos en inglés, ¿verdad? There's not a one size fits all, ¿verdad? No es la misma pastilla para todos. No todos los carros necesitan la misma gasolina o el mismo petróleo, ¿verdad? El mismo tipo de aceite, hermano Víctor. Y yo creo que así como una casa, ¿no? No todas las casas necesitan las mismas cosas. Entonces es igual con el papeleo, el proceso, los documentos que las personas necesitan. Pero como todos los negocios y todos los dueños de negocios, cada negocio también necesita que su liderazgo esté a alta calidad con ellos mismos. Entonces, la pregunta para los dos, empecemos con Vilma esta vez. ¿Qué es lo que a ti te gusta hacer afuera del trabajo para cuidarte a ti misma?
Me gusta jugar soccer. Me gusta jugar soccer, convivir con mi familia, nos encanta eso. Y lo bueno es que my partner also le gusta jugar soccer, so es como que un win-win, ¿verdad?
¿Y quién es mejor en fútbol, tú o él?
Él.
Humilde, ok. Y Víctor, ¿qué te gusta a ti hacer afuera del trabajo para cuidarte a ti mismo y asegurarte que tú estás a tu mejor potencial para todos tus clientes y tu comunidad?
Pues yo en realidad me mantengo muy ocupado, Dani. Jugando soccer es una de las cosas más favoritas que nos gusta hacer, porque en 1 hora o 2 horas que juguemos nos olvidamos completamente de lo que pasó esa semana, ese día, como que solo nos enfocamos en eso, right? Otra de mis cosas favoritas es our band en la iglesia, right? Vamos a...
El equipo de alabanza.
Exacto.
Sí, el equipo de alabanza.
Entonces vamos a ensayar.
Fresca unción.
Fresca unción, that's
fresca
right.
unción.
Y si alguno no asiste a una iglesia y está buscando algún lugar cercano aquí en Lynn, 256 Washington Street, right next to the police station, no hay forma de que
Así que se porten bien, porque
estés
si no,
más seguro, no hay forma de que estés más seguro.
Que tener la estación de policía.
Y te invitamos. De hecho, nosotros pues estamos trabajando con los jóvenes, que es algo que también nos está poniendo un poco ocupados. Entonces, todas estas cosas nos ayudan a poder tener nuestra sanidad mental y poder prepararnos para luego conducir nuestro día a día en el negocio.
Ok, y Vilma, para las personas que están interesados en VM Notary Services, que quieren ganar sus cartas, sus documentos notarizados, pero también tienen más preguntas para ustedes, ¿dónde los pueden encontrar y dónde los pueden contactar?
Tenemos nuestra página de Instagram, que es VM_Notary Services, y igual con Facebook, VM Notary Services, pero la mayoría de las personas, como nos conocen, pueden también mandarnos un mensaje a nuestro Facebook personal, que yo estoy como Vilma Mauricio, Mauricio. Él está como Víctor Mauricio. También, si ustedes no tienen ninguna plataforma social como Facebook y Instagram, también nos pueden mandar un correo electrónico a vmnotaryservice1@gmail.com.
Ok, excelente. ¿Y hay algún número de teléfono donde pudieran contactarlo? Ahorita está en proceso eso.
Está en proceso eso.
Excelente. Entonces, para aquellos que están interesados, yo voy a tener toda la información que acaban de escuchar en la descripción de este video. Si tienen alguna pregunta, por favor, de mandarle un mensaje a Vilma y a nuestro hermano Víctor. Y antes de cerrar, solo vamos a ir a un pequeño break y ahorita cerramos. Pero chicos, muchas gracias y regresamos en un momentito. Okay, yeah, so guys, thank you very much for being here. I had a lot of fun with you guys. Thank you guys so much. It's been a privilege to be able to have the beautiful and wonderful Vilma and our breathtaking bro, Victor. And it's been a privilege to have all of you guys here. If you guys are watching and you guys are interested more in VM Notary Services, make sure you guys check out the description down below. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys have questions about the driver's license for immigrants, if you have any concerns, make sure you let us know. And also, make sure you guys follow us. You guys can go to DanyAcosta.com where you can find more episodes for Not Again with Dany Acosta, which is also in the description down below. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we also have a thread now, so that's going to be really, really awesome. We're going to be playing with that a little bit. But also, I want to leave some time. Do you guys have any final words? Why don't we start with Victor? Do you have any final message or a final word for the community?
Yeah, Dany. Well, first of all, I want to start off by thanking you for the opportunity of having us here.
Oh, you could take me out to dinner later. Don't worry. No, just kidding.
All right, we're going out to lunch after. And just make yourself available to the community, guys. It can be as easy as being nice to each other, being respectful to each other, right? There's a lot of bad already in our society. People go through rough times. So be kind, be nice to other people. Pick up trash. Don't be dirty, right? Mm-hmm. Things like these are going to help.
Yeah, guys, oh my gosh, you filthy folks.
Yeah. Just do good. Because if you do good, good will come back to you for sure.
That's right, man. That's right. And Vilma? Any final words for the community?
Yes, like Victor said, thank you for having us here. To all the fans of Dany Acosta, thank you so much. I want to speak directly to the youth. I feel like the youth right now are in a process of where they're being pointed at or they're being judged. I just want to say that if you could just brush that off and say, you know what, I have such a great value. I'm worth it. I'm a perfect in the eyes of God. Trust me, your day will go good. Like, don't feel alone. Like Victor said, if there's just a little good will come along. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Thank you so much. And I'll use a Bible verse that's out there that really comes to heart and mind. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Do good in the world, guys. Do good in the world. And I believe that, I don't necessarily believe in karma, but I do believe in blessings. And I believe that we serve a living God and an almighty God that when we love, we just see so much love coming back in our direction, in our way. And why not love? As I believe is the first book of John that would say, if you do not love, then you do not know God. For if you have received love, right? And love comes from the Lord. So guys, I encourage all of you, go check out DanyAcosta.com, VM Notary Services as well. And we'll see you guys next time with our next guest. I don't know who it will be. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but it was a privilege. Vilma, Victor, thank you guys very much. God bless you guys. And remember to walk by faith and not by sight. See you guys next time. Peace.
Not again.
Bye.
Yeah.